Really? Yeah, I saw that, I think spring.
Good
Yeah.
evening. Thank you. Welcome to the October 15th, 2025 meeting of the Conservation Commission. The Wareham Conservation Commission will hold a meeting under Chapter 131, Section 40 of the General Laws of the Commonwealth of Massachusetts Wetland Protection Act, the Town of Wareham Wetlands Protection Bylaw, Division 6, and any other applicable laws. All hearings of the Wareham Conservation Commission are held simultaneously under the authorities of the Massachusetts Wetland Protection Act and the Town of Wareham Wetlands Protection Bylaw, Division 6. Although a single decision of the Commission is issued, it represents a separate decision under each authority. All matters listed may involve a decision and possible vote. I call ourselves to order. Roll call, please. I'll start with Jessica.
Jessica Parr.
Scott Sobey.
Paula Jean O'Neill.
Sandy Slavin.
Michael Mercier.
Rame Body.
Faith Berry, Associate Member.
I declare a quorum. Before we start, I just let people know that the 95 Edgewater Drive project has requested a continuance until November 5th. 40 and 48R Great Neck Road has requested a continuance until November 5th. 29 Camp Street has been formally withdrawn. The Town of Wareham Minot Ave and Narrows Bike Path has requested a continuance until spring. Very nebulous, spring. Okay, and the Conserve Group 6 Recovery Road has requested a continuance until 11/5, so if anybody's here for those projects, they will not be discussed. On with our first hearing tonight, please.
All right. Pursuant to the provisions of the Massachusetts Wetland Protection Act, General Laws, Chapter 131, Section 40, and the Wareham Wetland Protected Bylaw, Division 6, a public hearing will be held in Room 520, Wareham Multi-Service Center, 48 Marion Road, Wareham, Mass, on Wednesday, October 15th, 2025, at 6 p.m. All right, first one. On the request for determination of applicability for Lauren Mahoney, 62 Barlow Avenue, Wareham, Massachusetts, 02576. Planning to build a 12-foot by 10-foot shed that will be anchored into the ground. Map 78-1, lots 167 by 168, 62 Barlow Avenue, Wareham, Mass. And notice to open the hearing.
I have a motion.
Second.
I have a second. All in favor? Aye. Opposed, abstaining, the hearing's open. Who's here to represent this project? Can you come forward, please? And when you're seated, I'll ask you to tell us your name for the record, please.
Lauren Mahoney.
Christopher Mahoney.
Okay, talk to us about your project, please.
We just have plans to build an 12 by 10 shed on the backside of our yard. It will be anchored into the ground. We're using a contractor. That's all. I don't know.
Anchored into the ground with stakes, and it'll be posted up on concrete blocks.
So no in the ground, no digging?
No, nothing.
Okay, questions? Jessica?
No questions.
Scott?
No questions.
Paula Jean?
Did you already clear, I was over there, you already cleared the small rectangle for the shed, correct?
So some of it was just like briar bushes and
Okay,
things
because
like
I could see the little stumps and things, it was already cleared, but the brush is dumped pretty much in the water. Well, there's more water today than there was last week, that's for sure, for all that rain. Number 62, right? You're facing into the house, it's to the left, I'm sure I was at the right place. So I was concerned about the brush being dumped into the wetland.
It's like on the backside on the flat. It's not
Like, well, within 30 feet of the wetland is
Okay.
considered, you
Okay.
can't touch it there, so that should be moved.
Okay. Remove
Thank
it.
you.
No
Okay,
problem.
yeah.
Michael?
Okay. Kind of similar concerns, I guess, to Paula Jean. Any concerns about the runoff from the shed going into that water behind the shed?
No, it doesn't get, the water level doesn't get too high in there, so it won't flood the area or anything like that. And all the water runs into it anyway, you know, that would initially rain on that area.
Okay. And, let's see, and also, do we have any concerns about maybe, any wildlife, sorry, not wildlife, any,
Endangered species.
endangered species back there, anything like that in that area, do we know of or not?
We
Probably
haven't
not.
been there long enough.
I read up on it, and it seems like mostly they're worried about species of frogs and salamanders and things like that, and that's what'll habitate like a vernal pool like we have back there.
Is that considered a vernal pool? I'm sorry
It
to jump.
seems like it fits the description of one.
Yeah,
But it isn't formally identified by the state as a vernal pool.
No, it's
I
a
don't think so.
swamp,
So many
I
aren't.
think.
But that's what it looks like to me. I just wanted to bring that up. So, I don't think we'll be disturbing any wildlife or anything like that, because I think they stay down more. But if anything, it would probably create a space for them to go under the shed. I remember as a kid growing up in Plymouth, we had a lot of salamanders living underneath the shed in my yard.
All right, thank you.
Also, just to note, there's no NHESP rare or estimated habitats species over there.
All right,
Thank you, Christine. Kwame,
No questions, thank you.
Faith,
No questions. You answered the question about the brush and just, it was the briar brush, you just said it's disposed of properly, that's all.
Okay.
Yeah, we can do that.
Christine, any comments?
No, I have no comments.
Anybody online in the audience would like to speak to this project? I'm seeing none.
Move to close the hearing.
second.
I have a motion to close the hearing. I heard a second. All in favor? Aye. Opposed, abstained. Christine, your recommendation?
A -3, -6 with the cleaning up of the brush in the area around the wetland.
Can I ask a question, or is it too late? Sorry.
Okay.
Is it, like, is there specific, it says we have to stake it into the ground. Are there specific stakes that we have to? Okay. I just wanted to
You
make sure.
should, you're just placing it on cement blocks. There's no digging or anything like that, so you'll put a couple spikes into the ground to anchor it, so.
Okay.
Okay, we have Christine's recommendation.
yeah, so moved.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor? Aye. Opposed, abstained, 600. Get your document from Christine before you start any work, but you're approved.
Okay,
Thank
thank
you.
you.
A negative is a good thing.
Thank
Okay.
you. We'll clear up that brush.
Thank you. Next one, please.
All right. On the request for notice of intent for Emmanuel D. Miranda, 2648 Cranberry Highway, Wareham, Mass. The applicant is proposing to construct a residential duplex, driveways, sewage disposal system, utilities, and perform site grading. A portion of the duplex, driveway, and site grading will occur within the 100-foot buffer zone to a bordering vegetated wetland. No work will occur within the 30-foot no-activity zone. Dry wells are proposed to capture roof runoff, and a post and rail fence is proposed at the limit of work. Map 132, Lot 1038, 2645 Cranberry Highway in Wareham, Mass. And notice to open the hearing?
Second.
I have a motion and second. All in favor? Aye. Opposed, abstained. And who's here to represent this project?
Good evening, Brian Grady, GAF Engineering. As read in the advertisement, Mr. D. Miranda is proposing a duplex construction at this lot. About a third of the building will be within the buffer zone to an adjacent bordering vegetated wetland, and a small portion of one existing driveway and some associated site grading. We are proposing dry wells to capture the roof runoff, and we are proposing a split rail fence. Small portion of the grading is adjacent to the 30-foot no disturb, but that's just, you'll see it's a radius. So most of the work is beyond 30, beyond 40, beyond 50. So pretty simple project, and if I could answer any questions.
All right, I'll start with Jessica.
Can we come back to me, please?
Scott,
No questions, thank you.
Paula Jean,
No questions, thanks.
Michael,
No questions, thank you.
Kwame,
No questions, thank you.
Faith.
My question was, I went out there, is that where the auto company is on that site?
It's across the street.
It's across the street, okay.
Yeah, it's staked, there's yellow caution tape on the stakes. There was a home here. It was raised maybe 10 years or so ago. That's, if any of you were there, the lot's been cleared, but it's overgrown. That's because of the home that used to occupy the site.
Okay, thank you.
Jessica?
All set, thank you.
Thank you for the dry wells. I guess you know where my focus is, what to do with our runoff.
Well, it's a larger building, a duplex, so, maybe a single-family home would not have needed it.
Christine, comments, please.
No, I don't have any comments or concerns. I just want to note that I haven't received a DEP file number for this one yet, though.
Okay. No question. Anybody in the audience or online to comment on this project? We will have to continue until 11:05, waiting for DEP.
Move to continue to 11:05.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
I did say opposed, abstained. Thank you. I'm sorry, it's continued. Okay, now, we cannot start our continued hearing until 6:30, so what are we going to do? We're going to ask Christine if she'd like to talk to us about the certification of compliance request.
Great.
No, we've got,
I guess we got other things to do in here.
Sorry, go on.
we're trying to find something to do before 6:30, so you want to do your certification of compliance request?
Oh, yeah, sure.
Out of order?
Yeah, that's fine. So for SE 762741, recommend issuance of certificate of compliance.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstain. Next, please.
For 762597, recommend an issuance of certificate of compliance.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Abstain. Next, please.
For 761438, recommend issuance of a certificate of compliance.
What was the number?
1438.
Thank you.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstain. Next, please.
For 762408, recommend a partial certificate of compliance.
Partial.
Partial, just for part of the work that was done. This is from 2016, and there were just a couple of things that weren't done.
So why would we approve any kind of certificate of compliance then?
I don't think they're going to be doing those things.
So they need to come back, do they need to come back with a new plan?
No, so they already submitted an as-built with this. If there's anything else that they were going to be doing, they would have to come back with a plan. But as it is right now, they just have it's the foundation and like the house itself that was built. It was back in 2016 for a single-family home. But there were a couple of other things on the plan that weren't built.
So is this something that's
Wired for a sale.
Not sure, they didn't say anything about that.
is it something that's recorded by the county recorder? The county deed?
Yes,
the
it's
deed-
recorded
on
at
the deed.
registry of
Yeah,
deeds.
it'll still be recorded.
So how would a partial thank you for your.
Explain to, no, go ahead.
Yeah,
This is his first time he's had a partial.
Well, it doesn't make
Oh, no,
sense to
no.
me either, so.
So, I mean, we've done it before, in which the job was never completed,
Yeah,
and they wanted a sign off on what they did complete.
yes,
And they know if they're going to do anything else, they got to come back.
yes, exactly.
So is that stated in a letter, a cover letter or something, or is it in the certificate itself?
It's in the certificate itself.
And it states specifically what has been done and what has not been done?
Yeah,
Okay,
and it has an as-built plan showing what has been done.
okay, thank you.
Are you comfortable?
I'm very comfortable, thank you.
Okay,
I'm so comfortable, I'll move acceptance of the partial certificate of compliance.
Second.
I have a motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstained. Now, 15 minutes, okay. Knowing that we have some continued hearings that have requested a continuance, I think I can have them, we can take them now, because we're not gonna take any testimony on them.
Yeah, do those
And if
first.
I'm at fault, then I'm sorry, but we have a request for 95 Edgewater for a continuance until 10:15.
That's today.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, 11:15, 11:05.
Yeah.
I'll clean my glasses. 11:05.
So moved.
Second.
I didn't make the motion.
I move to continue, thank you, continue 95 Edgewater Drive, RDA 119, until November 5th, 2025.
Thank you. That's the motion. I have a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. 40 Great Neck Development, DRA, RDA 122 wants a continuance until November 5. I need a motion.
I'll move that 40 and 48R Great Neck Road, 40 Great Neck Development LLC, RDA 122, be continued till November 5th, 2025.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstained. We have a formal request to remove 29 Camp Street, notice of intent 133. It was a formal withdrawal,
Yes, I have a formal letter.
and we want to accept that formal letter.
Move to accept the formal letter as a statement of withdrawal, intent to withdraw.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstained. We've had a request from the town of Wareham for the bike path, notice of intent 139, to be continued until the spring.
Yes.
Is there a date in the spring?
Yeah, it was March 18th of 2026,
You say March 18th?
March 18th.
The idea is that if they withdraw and reapply, then they have to put out notices to all the abutters all over again,
Well, they'll have to re-advertise at that point as well.
which means all new, then why don't they withdraw?
Well, they're working with other agencies right now, so they're still messing around with the plans to get them to
Okay.
match up for everything. So I think that it would be a little bit hasty for them to withdraw when they're already having it reviewed by other agencies.
So that's the request for March 18th, 2026.
Yes.
Move to continue Town of Wareham, Minard Avenue, Narrows Road, NOI 139 to March 18th, 2026.
Second?
I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstain. Okay. The 6th Recovery Road, notice of intent 150, wants a continuance into November 5th.
Yep. Yes.
Make a motion to continue to November 5th.
Second.
Recovery Road.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstain. We are continued to the 5th. Okay. I don't know what else to do for 10 minutes.
For the review of the enforcements that we currently have on here,
Yep.
nothing from 14 Widows Cove, but 16 Widows Cove, I received an NOI for it today. So it'll be on the next meeting.
Anything from One Reynolds?
No, so one Reynolds, so it got sold to a new person. And I've spoken with the new property owner, and he seems to want to get rid of everything on his own. So I have to get back in touch with him to try and work out something, because we already have Hamilton Beach, which has filed for removing it on their half. But I'm not sure if the new owner of One Reynolds wants to also just take all of it out at once.
Okay. Folks, I don't know. Can I legally start a hearing before 6:30, even though we've posted 6:30 as a start time for continuance?
I don't think so.
I
Huh?
wouldn't.
I don't think so.
I
No.
wouldn't. No. We talk about fines for a second, since we're talking about continued enforcement.
Yes.
The law allows us to levy fines on a daily basis. $300 a day for something that would not be permitted, $200 a day for something that would be. And I'm wondering if there is something like destruction of salt marsh, construction of patios, and so on, whether those should be a daily fine rather than whenever we get around to hearing it. These are egregious offenses against the law and against the public and against the public's interest.
Tell you the truth, Scott, I've only been on the board for about 15 years, and I've never had one issued continuous. I'm not sure how to legally make it happen and
Make
how
what?
to enforce it.
A daily one, you mean?
Yes, I've never had one issued.
Well, Josh told me a long time ago that it's just a matter of going out there and hand delivering it, the notice every day.
And delivering one of us or legal, or law, a law officer.
It would be the agent.
Yeah.
Any comments? At what time should we be putting a daily fine? We've got to give them a chance to say something.
Yeah.
Give them, it's my intent, you have until this date, due date, to clean it up or do the job. If you don't do it, then we could start looking at daily fines. But we've got to give them a chance and a specific time frame to do the work, and then we can look at doing it daily.
Yeah, I think that's a fair thing to do. And putting the fine daily, I think it's something that we could do. I've spoken with Josh about this before, and it may be a little bit difficult to enforce. That's just the one thing that I have to look a little bit more into, but I believe it's doable.
So let's take a hypothetical here, since we have time.
Okay?
What if someone does something egregious like bulldozing wetlands?
I would prefer to use another example.
Like, I don't know.
Okay, store their dock in the middle of a marsh.
Store their dock in the middle of the marsh, which is also leaking diesel fuel.
Yeah, let's make
How's
it
that?
bad.
Okay? So, someone notices, a neighbor or one of us or the agent notices this and says, you've got to move that. You've got to clean up the diesel spill. You've got to move that dock. Okay, we will do that. Well, when?
We give them a time frame to have it completed by.
Okay, then they request continuances.
No, I mean, they could very well, but we said, you agreed, we give you 4 weeks to clean it up and remove it. And you agreed to that time frame.
And 4 weeks to also provide a plan to restore it to its former state.
Yes, so I mean, 4 weeks or 8 weeks, we would be the time frame, and they would agree to it. And if they fail to make that, then we can seriously consider doing daily fines. But we have to have them agree to a reasonable time frame to do the work.
Yeah, I don't know why.
I think the downside of that is it requires communication and participation from the other side.
Yeah, they would have to come here, being part of a enforcement order.
I think that we should be recording enforcement orders. So like you were talking about One Reynolds, that property conveyed, if we had recorded something, that property could have never conveyed until this was cleared. So if we.
Oh, you mean on the deed?
I mean at the
Yeah.
registry of deeds.
Oh, when you say conveyed, it didn't, okay.
Yeah, so it was sold, but it would have never. It would have never, that sale would have never completed, or it would have, the owner would have been required to resolve and remedy the issue before they could sell the property. It would have been part of the sale. So this is a way that taxes get paid, it's a way that things get fixed, it's a way that, you know, debts get paid essentially. So I think that that's a useful tool. There's, you know, it's time sensitive. You know, some people, especially elderly people, are gonna really struggle with a daily fine, but it does kind of create this endpoint and motivation for resolution before it can be sold.
What is the legal ramification of putting recording an enforcement order on a deed?
That enforcement order would have to be cleared before the house could be
No,
sold.
no. We can do it.
Yes, you can do it.
Okay.
It just requires a fee to do it, and that's about it.
And the person who violated would be paying the fee.
I think that we would pay the fee to record it again, like
record
on
it.
the deed, yeah.
Okay.
But they wouldn't be able to do anything with that property if the enforcement order is recorded.
And you hope that the person who does the deed search finds it.
Yeah, they would. I mean, unless there was a real problem with
Yeah.
their due diligence, it would be
We had
readily available.
We had an issue for affordable housing unit that was sold at market rate. And we won our court case against the person who should have done the due diligence to find it, and the money back from the person who sold the property.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it does happen, but if we watch it, monitor it,
Yep, part of every purchase is a title exam.
yep,
And it wouldn't be hidden anywhere. I mean, the idea of recording a document is to put the world on notice. So
that there's a violation.
there's an issue, right?
So we have this dock, it is leaked fuel oil onto the marsh. We've given them 4 weeks.
Yeah.
Do you do the recording of the deed immediately, or wait until the 4 weeks pass and then record it? Give them a chance to clean it up first. So he's hit with the violation and the daily fine, and then he's also hit with it going on to his deed restriction.
I mean, I think you probably need to create a process, right? That process would include notice, it would include, you know, here's what you can expect, you know, here's notice of this violation. You have 4 weeks to appear before the commission, you have another 4 weeks to remedy it. After that 8-week time period, should this full resolution not be achieved, the enforcement will be recorded at the Registry of Deeds against your property, and, you know, whatever type of penalty we determine to assess will continue to accrue.
Would this be something that might be found in another towns?
Oh, yeah.
Ask Josh if they did it in Falmouth.
Yeah, I'll ask
I would
him about it.
expect to think there might be some of the
So different
more
cities and
sensitive,
They've definitely done
Towns,
it in other
cities.
cities and towns.
because I would like to have, I don't want to create it from scratch if we can take one and
You wouldn't be.
tweak it.
And this can be added to our
Plagiarize.
rules and regulations that are under draft.
Oh, yeah,
review
those-
Too.
Those, yes, good point.
Still trying to find a time that Josh is not
Huh?
super busy for that, but
Well, just ask the question, if that's the case, then someone needs to, I was going to say you need to look at Falmouth, but I need you to also take a look at our enforcement orders and stuff like that, because I'm about to give you someone who put docks up on the marsh. Okay, shall we? It is now
6:28.
6:29.
I just have one question. So,
The countdown
Madam Chair, you were
begins.
just saying that they would have to come in front of us, and,
Yes,
but I haven't read, maybe I'm mistaken, that we have subpoena power. Does this commission have the ability to compel someone to come before us? I don't believe so.
No.
I don't know. I've never had that situation come before us.
No.
So, for your response then to my hypothetical, it requires a goodwill effort on the person who's been out of compliance, say, who's been in violation of the law.
Yes. I don't have an answer for everything, but yes,
Just thought I would bring it up since we
I mean-
had 2 minutes left.
if it's one of those things that if we find that they are not willing to come before us, then we will look through town council what other options we have to bring them in front of us. And that's why we have town council, to ask those questions.
And then in the case of anything, since you brought up if it was leaking diesel, in the case of anything like that, those also
could bring the
usually
state
go.
in.
Yeah, those usually also go to state agencies, so, because it'd be a chemical spill,
Yeah,
basically.
we had an abandoned oil tank down at Dick's Pond. Oh, what a mess that was. It leaked into Dick's Pond, icy Dick's Pond. Anyway, okay, 6:30, and I now can continued, with continued hearings. The next one, let's see, Safe Harbors continued it until the November 19th. The next hearing I have is 7 Burgess Point, continued in 12/7. The next one I have is 8 Johnson Street, Virginia Green Turner, notice of intent 141. Anybody here for that?
That still needs a DEP number and an NHESP letter.
Okay, so we're going to try for 11/5.
Move to continue Virginia Greer Turner, 8 Johnson Street, NOI 141, to November 5th, 2025.
Second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstain. Riverhawk, Bay Point Drive, 19 Bay Point Drive. Anybody here? That's continued until today. No, they didn't have it continued until today. Riverhawk 9 Bay Point.
Yeah.
Anybody?
This one, Josh and I were working on drafting conditions for.
Okay, we'll continue 11/5. I need a motion.
Continue.
11/5.
Riverhawk
LLC, 19 Maple Lake Drive till 11/5.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Abstain. Next we have is 0 Shady Lane, notice of intent 149. Clearing invasives. Finally. Sorry. Thank you. Please identify yourselves, please.
Hi, I'm Andrea Jerebeck, restoration ecologist at Mass Audubon.
And I'm Sarah Quintala, restoration ecologist with Buzzards Bay Coalition.
Okay. All right, we have BBC and we have Audubon. All right, talk to us. We have had, some of us have had a site visit, so.
I was going to say, nice to see some of you again. So today we're here because we're proposing invasive management species or invasive management plan at Shady Lane, our Marks Cove Conservation Area. To take a step back for a moment, this work is a part of a broader initiative which we call Making Space. Mass Audubon has a NOAA award that's focusing on restoring coastal cranberry bogs that have marsh migration potential. Marks Cove has a beautiful tidal creek, excellent future marsh migration potential, and our work is also focused on scaling up this effort. So systems building, processes, collaborations with other conservation organizations to do this work at scale across the state in the coming years. Today is the first step. Invasive management is really important for ecological restoration. We haven't submitted the NOI for that yet, but it's coming, hopefully soon. Invasive management is really important to give our native plant species the best possible chance for revegetation. And in particular at Marks Cove, we also are really interested in, for example, doing mechanical cuts to see the underlying hydrology of the Phragmites. So there could be legacy agriculture, berms, ditches, culverts that we can't see in the frag yet. So doing these cuts really helps us understand the site and what other actions may be needed to heal nature on the site. So we're excited to be here. Sarah, would you like to add anything else?
Sure, yeah. So Christine had started putting the plan up on the screen here, but essentially the,
Excuse me, can you turn one of those lights off behind you, sir? Which one? I don't know. Try one.
Yep.
Yes, you got, no, turn it the other
Right,
way,
Carl.
other one.
Watch out.
Yeah,
Oh,
no.
there we go.
there.
There you go.
Better.
That's better. Thank you.
Nice.
I wish you could see more of the map. I know it's in each of your packets, but to just further describe what Andrea just touched upon. So what you're seeing right now is a portion of the Marks Cove Conservation Area, which is comprised of several parcels of land with several conservation partners all working together, including Audubon, the Coalition, and Wareham Land Trust, as well as Wildlands Trust. So there's a lot of entities that own land in this conservation area. Today, what we're speaking about is specifically the parcels of land in which there's invasive species management needed. So that's our three groups, Wildlands Trust, of which we worked together on this application with, but they couldn't be here with us tonight. The conservation area parcel really extends from Nicholas Drive at the north side and the former cranberry bog. It's retired. And has been. It's really been revegetating in, so that's the parcel that the Buzzards Bay Coalition owns. And then the tidal creek system kind of extends up from the bay waters up to that cranberry bog parcel. So the invasive Phragmites is the most aggressive plant that we're looking to tackle as part of this project. And most of that Phragmites, which is about 4 acres, is in the marsh parcel just south of the cranberry bog, though there is a little bit of Phragmites as well as several other invasives on the bog parcel as well. Invasive gray willow being, I'd say, the second most dominant that's been growing in on the former ag cells. So the way that we envision tackling this is not very dissimilar from how we've approached it on Buzzards Bay Coalition's other sites, or how Audubon's approached it on other sites. It's kind of the standard methods of doing a combination of cutting an herbicide in order to tackle the invasive plants. The approach that we're suggesting for the Phragmites in particular is really focused on trying to cut down the vegetation heavily 3 times during the growing season before we apply any herbicide to it, to really try to have the plant use up all of its underground root reserves so that it is most vulnerable to treatment. So that's something that has been found useful on other sites. We have done it with Japanese knotweed on our site, and we did find that it really helped tamp down the Phragmites a lot quicker. And then the other plants, particularly things like the gray willow and more shrubby things, the cut stump treatment is best for those. So that with the main goal being just using as little herbicide as possible, just as judicious as we can. And that way we can do sort of the first step of restoration to get the invasives under control before any future work is done. So with that, I welcome any questions.
All right. Jessica?
No questions. Scott?
Would you review for us how which herbicide or herbicides you're using and how it's applied?
Sure, yeah. So with the Phragmites, because of the type of plant that it is, it has to be a glyphosate product really is the most useful. So we often will use triclopyr as well, and triclopyr works great on things like deciduous broadleaf plants, so things like willow, that could be used on, but for the Phragmites, that's not an effective chemical against it. And so we've been using that particular chemical family for over a decade on our sites, and we have not seen any off-target impacts of using it. It's the one that we feel has been the safest to use, and it works.
You don't, in this packet, I should have had, well, different question, but I was wondering if it would be possible to see some of the other sites that you've used these methods on, maybe a year, 5 years down the road. These sort of follow-up kinds of things are useful to me. I don't know about anybody else, to see what the effects are on non-target effects, for example, or other effects that might be useful for us to make the judgment. So glyphosate's only transported to the next node, to the first node proximal to the root system. So I'm just curious about why you think that's the best? Is this an empirical thing that you've tried, or is it based on some other methodology for the choice of this particular herbicide?
So it is still widely used by other restoration practitioners in our field here in the Northeast and Massachusetts specifically. There have started to be some other chemicals have been tried out and used, and so like imazepyr, for example, is another chemical that is sometimes used, but the risk level goes up a little bit more because they have a little bit more of staying presence in the environment for a little longer, whereas glyphosate doesn't. It disappears much quicker, and so glyphosate still is the most widely used among restoration practitioners. As far as other sites where we've been using it and tracking it, I was actually just writing up an annual report today from another site where we do annual monitoring and spot treatment in the fall. So typically in the month of September, sometimes into October. And so we have restoration photo points where we will take photo documentation from those points and then compare it to what it looked like beforehand. And so I have 3 sites in which I have detailed information like that, where we have the photo documentation and sort of the follow-up of how much spot treatment do we need to do every year. What we found is that in general, there's always a little bit of Phragmites that comes back. It's the first 3 years, the most intensive, where you have the most work to kind of get it under control. But after that, it goes much quicker because it's very, very sparse. So that could be seed bank, that could be rhizomes that they still have a little more root reserves in them that enable them to sprout back up. So it's sort of like weeding your garden is how I like to describe it, and that you're on a landscape scale, it's almost impossible to zigzag and walk and see every single stem of an invasive plant. There's sometimes they're covered up by another plant, especially when your native vegetation rebounds. If you have cattail gray next to it, it's very hard to see little Phragmites that's covered and shadowed by something else. And so that's an example of one that you'll probably see next year when you're walking around and it's bigger. So that's why the annual monitoring is really important, because it enables you to kind of see what you might have missed or where those more resilient stems of the invasives have managed to hang on.
Okay, and then the application method?
So it'll be a combination kind of dependent on the species. So with the shrub species, for example, cut stump is the most useful, where you basically just saw it close to the ground and then you're literally brushing the cut stump with your target chemical. Lower growing shrubs that are basically less than head height, those are foliar spray treated. With the Phragmites, after 3 cuttings, so what we're proposing is 3 cuttings starting in January, and then I want to say it's like June, and then another one in August typically. And so after that, basically we give the plants 1 more month to sprout back up so that you have foliage visible, and then you foliar spray that if you still have dense stands coming up, which we would expect in the first year. Starting in the second year is when I would expect that there wouldn't be dense stands of Phragmites anymore. You'd start to have seen the rebound of native vegetation, and so then we go a little more surgical, and hand wicking tends to be the right method at that point. So basically, we only want to use foliar spray when we have a homogeneous stand of invasives. We don't want to be foliar spraying by accident the natives around it. So if it's homogeneous frag, then foliar spray is appropriate. If other natives are starting to grow in amongst it, that's when we go in with the hand wicking.
Thank you.
Are you good?
I don't know.
Question for, Before you go, on, you did the one in Acushnet, Buzzards Bay Coalition? Did the
In Acush-
restoration of the upstream in Acushnet?
The Acushnet Sawmill.
And that, yeah, that was what, 6 years ago?
Oh, 2015, we finished that one.
Okay, so there's one that's 10 years old. If you go down to the one in the sawmill in Acushnet, there's an old site, 2-3 years for Horseshoe Pond Dam. So that's one that's recently, and that's in
Oh,
Wareham.
yeah.
Yes,
Yes.
so there was that work done there.
Yeah.
So there's 2 sites that are 10 and 2 years old, if you want to take a look. And then your new project that you just finished, but it's only about a year now, is what?
Mattapoisett Box.
Mattapoisett, yeah.
That one
That-
didn't have a lot of Phragmites.
But
That one
it's
had a lot of other things.
Other
Gray
stuff.
willow and that one had plenty of gray willow. So yes.
Sorry, I just wanted to give Scott an idea of where he might see some successes that have occurred with your organization. Paula Jean, questions?
Scott pretty much covered what I was thinking about. I just think about how Silent Spring came out in 1962, and here we are still not finding better ways than using chemicals that do have side effects, especially by conservation type of organizations that should be the leaders in this field. So I'm really looking forward to the day when you can come in here and we won't hear glyphosate or any of these things.
Me too.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, we are not there yet. It's still, but what we have been able to do
Yeah.
is drastically reduce how much we have to use.
Right.
So we're
And-
literally tracking it in ounces.
It's difficult. I'm well aware how labor intensive it is, but, it's sort of ethically, we might do it, but we know it's wrong. Thank you.
Okay, Michael,
No comments, thank you.
Kwame,
Hi, how long do these projects usually take? I mean, this is like, what, 40 acres, or how much is that again?
It's
20 acres, I'm sorry, yeah, so how long does it usually, like the 6 months, 5 months?
To implement,
Yes, I'm,
So-
I'm sorry, the total length of start and end date, you think, maybe
well,
a
so
couple of years?
because we're proposing to do 3 cutting treatments before we do the herbicide application for the Phragmites, we're really, it's in year 1, 10 months, because we're looking to basically do the first cut in January, and then treatment in September through like mid-October is pretty standard. So that's year 1, and then year 2, it's follow-up treatment. So we would typically do that follow-up treatment. It's usually, depending on how many crew, it could be anywhere from 1 day to 3 to 4 days, depending on how much work there is and how many people on the crew. And that would be done in that September-October window again.
Wow.
And one of the things that we have found necessary is that annual monitoring, that annual spot treatment. And so one of the things we are requesting here is a in perpetuity condition, if possible, to enable us to be able to do that annual spot treatment as needed, and not have to continuously be submitting permit extension requests or new permit applications.
So it sounds like a lengthy process. As
Not as long
as soon as you get done with one, then you have to go and check the other one to
Yeah.
make sure stuff doesn't grow again.
A long process, but not as long as perpetuity, which we know goes beyond the end of the solar system.
Right.
So I would be hesitant to grant anything in perpetuity, especially in light of Paula Jean's and others' concerns.
Understood.
like we have done with camp.
Yeah.
Clear, we ask them, we give them a 3-year and then an annual report. I mean, that's a discussion as we get closer
Yeah.
to issuing an appeal, a ruling on it. Faith, anything?
Yes, first of all, I'd like to say I'm very happy to see you especially focusing in on Phragmites, because it's not only a terrible invasive, but it contributes to severe wildfire conditions. I'm aware of that. And in New York, the Nature Conservancy has been working for the last 15 years on managing, developing some best practices to manage Phragmites. And I was wondering if you had the opportunity to look at the work that they're doing in New York.
Specifically in New York, I can't say if that's come out recently. I'd say not in the past year. I used to work in New York, including with Nature Conservancy. So kind of, all of us practitioners really do talk to each other quite a lot, and we usually are always keeping our eyes open for these types of topics when we're at conferences and whatnot. So far, there's been a lot of methods tried, everything from fire and burning and flooding, and every site's a little bit different, but so far, that combination of mechanical with the judicious use of herbicide has been found to be most effective, though labor intensive, most effective. In some cases, the flooding of newly cut Phragmites stems with salt water can be found to be effective, and that might be one of the things that Nature Conservancy is working on. It's very site-specific. So one of the things that we're hoping on here, particularly on the more the saltier portion of the site on the Audubon and the wildlands parcels, is that the repeated cutting down to the ground. So there's no ground disturbance, but we're cutting as close as we can to the ground. We're hoping that those areas, the salt can come in on the tide and flood those cut combs, and hopes to help to push back the frag. Once that frag's established and big, it's sipping from all of its neighbors, and it's a tricky endeavor. We know that without any herbicide, there will always be some persistent Phragmites there. But we're hoping that by doing this repeated cutting in conjunction with the tidal flow in that portion of the site, we're hopeful that that will help to combat it more naturally as well.
Thank you.
Sure.
Glad to hear about this.
Any other work proposed other than invasive control?
Not at this time. We are, as a sort of collective of our partners in the conservation area, together with our engineering team, we are working on an engineering plan that addresses the overall restoration, and we're getting very close to having that ready for submission for regulatory review, but we're not there yet.
And that would be some removing of berms and stuff like that, and making it a better water flow in and out of that site. So that's the next step, is the actual modification of the land to accommodate restoration. Okay, so we're only talking about invasives. Christine, any comments?
I would like to see if it's possible, if you guys would have like a progress report going on for this project, like during the duration, just give like an update.
Like an annual report after treatment?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just to see, how it's progressing along and everything. And I did want to speak to the success of the other sites that they have done, because I used to live right like 10 minutes from the sawmill. And so I've been there a lot over the years, and it looks
Unbelievable.
fantastic.
To see that tide come up.
Yeah, it's amazing. I mean, you've got a whole bunch of bird species over there now. You've got a bunch of frogs in the spring. You've got the marsh growing back in, like the cedar swamp. You have it growing back in. And same with the bogs, because I used to go there a lot too, and that looks completely different. So I think it's been a really helpful, transition for the wildlife in the area. So I just wanted to speak to that.
I just had one follow-up question.
Yes.
So there are subspecies of Phragmites australis. There's a Eurasian morphotype, and then there's a native North American type as well. So how do you know that this is the Eurasian morphotype?
Yeah. So I am only aware of one stand of native Phragmites in the Buzzards Bay watershed, and that's in Falmouth. And it's north of one of our invasive Phragmites sites over at Gunning Point Pond. It's north of Gunning Point Pond. That native stand of Phragmites is right next to the invasive, and so it actually offers a really, really nice opportunity to look at the two side by side. And it's interesting, and amazing that the native one has held on like it has, because that hasn't happened in the vast majority of areas. But what the native Phragmites stem is a little bit different. It's more red in color. It has a few different characteristics regarding how the sheath of the stem holds on. And the native one also doesn't grow as densely and doesn't outcompete quite like the Eurasian one does. When you've got the Eurasian Phragmites, it's usually outcompeting and pushing out other things. It's the bully, whereas the native one just doesn't have that same behavior. So when if it doesn't look like, so by this point, like, an invasive plant gets ingrained in your mind as far as what it looks like. And so when you're walking along and you see something that's like, that looks a little bit different, we always take another look. And I want to say it was just 3 weeks ago, I was on another site, and you know, we were doing annual treatment after 13 years on a site in Dartmouth. And my colleague came up to me and said, you know, this one looks a little bit different. Do you think this could be the native one hanging on? And so we go through our checklist to be like, okay, well, let's look at all these characteristics, and then and we've literally been monitoring the site for 13 years. Is it possible that the native one popped up out of nowhere? Probably not. But nonetheless, we were able to ascertain by looking at the characteristics of it that it was still the Eurasian one. So it's something that we're aware of, that there's the possibility that it exists in these sites, but we
Is there a
more often than
possibility,
not don't come across it.
is there a possibility for hybridization?
We've never heard of it hybridizing.
Yeah, they are subspecies, so, and you can get, this is in the Poaceae, isn't it? In the family Poaceae is a grass. So there are many cases of separate species of grasses hybridizing. So I wouldn't be surprised, but, so that might be interesting to look in your Falmouth place where you have them adjacent to what's right between the two stands. You might find some hybrids. I don't know.
Yeah. Not sure.
Christine, comments?
No, I have no other comments.
Do we have a DEP?
Yes, we do.
Is there any reason, anybody have any other questions or concerns about this project? Asking around. Anybody online has a comment on this project? John?
Not at this time.
You're willing to close?
Move to close the hearing?
I have a
Second.
motion and a second to close the hearing. All in favor? Aye, opposed, abstained. Christine, your recommendation.
Standard order of conditions with an annual monitoring report with the progress of well, technically it's kind of a restoration, but progress of the project.
So moved.
Second.
I have that motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Abstained. Nice seeing you again, Sarah.
You too.
I
Thank
just
you very
love your
much.
projects. You're so impressive. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
We're almost done early.
Almost.
It
The
says-
next-
Doesn't it say somewhere that we can't adjourn till 8:30?
Oh,
Oh, please.
next one we have is, we continued, Conserve has been continued. Then we have the Hamilton Beach Association,
Yes.
NOI. Anybody here for that?
So about that one, I have to speak with both Hamilton Beach and the,
Reynolds.
Reynolds owner.
Okay,
There might be a withdrawal on that one, I'm not sure yet. As far as I know at the moment, they needed a new plan, so.
all right, well, let's take a motion to continue until 11:05.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstained? Okay. And sir, is there something we can do for you?
I'm trying to get a certain place.
Sorry?
I'm trying to get a certain place. My house is in Jackson, but I haven't met person on the kid, near the place.
I don't,
I don't understand what you're.
Christine,
So somebody locked There are two doors in here that are, one of them's usually unlocked, both of them are locked right now. It's like somebody,
Oh, we're trying to be able to get out of here?
yeah, kind of,
If you came out alone, it's the first thing.
yeah.
Okay, so, anything else? Any other reason to continue?
No, would you like a motion to adjourn?
Anybody else? I had a motion.
Second.
I have a second. We are adjourned at 7 o'clock.
Unreal.
In time for a baseball game.
For